All right. Hey, everybody. Still hiding off cam because I'm just not 100% yet. So, as always, when I sometimes have to cough or clear my throat, apologies. I'm going to do it away from the microphone as best I can. But, being sick sucks. But I'm slowly getting better. All right. So, first off, this week, just an announcement that I'll probably not be doing streams on Monday and Tuesday. Maybe Wednesday WOTV stream to for the new character release on JP. That'll be a late night stream, later in the evening stream for me. But hopefully by then I'll be feeling better and we'll be able to do a more normal stream. So if you're waiting for JP news, probably expect it mostly Thursday along with impressions and reviews, but it all depends on how my week goes. All right, so that's the first minute. Now, next we're going to talk about global news, and then in the last bit of this video, I'm going to clarify a little bit more my position on WOTV, because apparently I stirred up the community via comments, which I'm actually okay with. I like that people were engaging in the comment section, but anyway, global news. Cherise. Let's talk about Cherise. Cherise is a 70 cost wind elemental ranged unit. And I know the impression that a lot of people will get off this. I mean, she's just Hunter, Strider, and Gunner. Good combination. Hell, unlike Cowlet, she even has a limit burst. So all of these things are a big advantage. She also has warning volley, which is, really nice bit of damage in an AoE. Here's the big thing. Cherise definitely saw play on JP and still sees some play. But the thing is, wind is so competitive right now. And if you're in it to win it with wind, I mean, you probably have Glassy, Wind Glassy at this point. And you probably have Sadali and Joom. There just isn't really a lot of position on this team or Cherise. I would even say in limited cost, she just a lot of the times doesn't make the cuts. Dario is actually put in a little bit more just because he has some good he's a low cost tank essentially, and it allows you to keep your high end units and DPSs ready. So that's a thing. Cherise does see some play, like I said, but for the most part, Sadali, Joom, and Wind Glassy. If you look at JP with a new Wind 100 cost unit, it does essentially crowd this unit out pretty hard. This unit does have its uses, but given how many 100 costs are in the future, if you're planning at all for the future, excuse me, much better. I would say that this is a prime unit to skip, given how many 100 in collaborations are in your future, as well as the winter units and the global shadow links, which is also to be determined. I'm not saying that this unit is bad or that you're stupid or wrong for liking this unit or wanting this unit. If you do, go for it. But I'm just saying in terms of this game and its best spent investment, Cherise is a unit that you will probably get as an off banner sooner rather than later, given how many off banners. But hey, if you're that good at hitting on banners, all the power to you. Next up is Lizette, and I like talking about Lizette more because she's just, one of those free units you get by getting event quest, and she's just a thunder unit that pads out thunder teams. She has a little bit chaining properties, if I remember correctly, because I think I've used her for I've used her in teams with Cloud and whatnot. I actually like her quite a bit. But she's a free unit anyway, and you should definitely enjoy these units when they do show up, because it feels like they're going to get rarer and rarer. So yeah, Lizette, awesome. Cherise, totally fine. Absolutely see tons of value in her. It's such a stacked 100 cost future. So, I mean, when you're pulling on those 100 cost banners, you're more than likely to land one of this unit anyway. So there you go. That's just my impressions. Get the shards, go for it later. Other than that, some job upgrades for Knight, Gunner, White Mage, and Hunter. We've previewed them all in the past. Arena maps, Lizette acquisition, and early winter banners, which means that, of course, winter stuff is coming soon. No Game of Thrones jokes. It's still too sad. But yeah, that's the global news. So next up, I'm going to talk a little bit about JP WOTV, and I'm going to put on just a Peachin video. This is just Peachin talking a little bit about the news. My emulator is kind of on the fritz right now too, and I just don't have the energy to reset it up. So talking about what my video yesterday about how angry I was. I mean, definitely, I'm sick, I'm frustrated, I'm annoyed. But I think I need to clarify what is enjoyable to me in terms of gaming. Like, I love, part of gaming is always going to be power tripping, right? And part of gaming is always going to be frustration. So take 2 games, or 3 games. Let's use 3 games as an example, and I'll try and go quickly through these. God of War Ragnarok. That is a story-driven base game where you're basically going through a singular story. And, there's definitely, both in the 2018 game and the 2022 game, a fair amount of challenge in certain places. And it can be frustrating, and you just die, and then you have to, fight again. Then take Elden Ring, a game where you can wander in any direction, and difficulty is incredibly stacked against you, but that's a Dark Souls game, right? You are going to die and everything like that. And then you take a game like, let's say, Diofield Chronicle. And Diofield Chronicle, love the graphics. Well, you go through, it's an active time SRPG. It has, pretty good game right up until the ending, and I hate the story ending so very, very much. I'll have to touch upon that more later, but you look at these 3 games, and there's, always spectacle, there's always, strategy, there's action, there's interesting elements, and I love all of that in video games. But I don't hate it when I have frustration in games. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things that keeps me around. I don't think, even my favorite games can frustrate me, but usually it's a level of frustration that engages me. It's not just handing you to it. If you're constantly handed wins, then it doesn't feel rewarding. If you just said there's a reason why I don't play games on easy mode ever. It's because it is to the point of being well, I mean, it just feels like it's handing the win. And for some people, that's fine. That's what they want. But for me, I like a little frustration. And WOTV has always been a copious amount of frustration with a greater amount of satisfaction because of the community, because I'm able to do this kind of stuff on YouTube, where I'm able to look at information from other people, information from in-game, and information from my own experience, and give advice and everything. And that's probably kept me playing WOTV longer than it should have. I probably would have stopped in about the 2nd anniversary if I didn't have those kind of things, that community and that information. And when yesterday I flew off the handle, it definitely was because the live stream looked cheap, and it doesn't even look like the team is really trying that hard anymore. The anniversary has felt really cheap and held back. The rewards for players, it hasn't felt like an anniversary for the players. It's felt like an anniversary for Gumi. And people will be like, well, it's a gacha game. Of course they're going to do that. It's a company. And yeah, I know that to some extent. But this year has felt much more on the nose. But I think this is the part that I haven't shared that really makes why I'm more pissed off recently at WOTV, it's mainly because over the last few days and weeks, I've seen a third of my guild, which has been around with me essentially since like year 1 of WOTV on JP. A third of them have quit the game, stopped playing because of bad collaborations, because of crappy rewards, because of non-friendly free-to-play systems, which the reincarnation system is at this point, basically. It's you're like, as a free-to-player, you're never going to be able to challenge a whale ever again, kind of thing. And that sucks, because that's one of the things that's been holding me together. Over the last year also, feels like viewership has dropped a little bit on my YouTube. I mean, it sucks a bit, but it is a weighing thought on my mind of whether or not the crowd is dying for this, and whether I need to think about new games for the channel. And even that, you've seen, I've tried to introduce some new games to my channel, and my follow-through on them has been so-so, but, you know, that's a big, like, another blow against my thing against WOTV. And also, like, it does feel a little bit more like the power creep is a little more insane now because of the reincarnation system, because it's just completely like, new characters on whale accounts can just blow other people out of the water, and they're just forcing whales into a do or die situation with trying to stay competitive in this game. And there have been quite a few people on, you know, JP WOTV Twitter who have just declared that they're quitting, kind of thing. So I want to make it perfectly clear. Do I enjoy playing WOTV? Some of the gameplay, yeah. I mean, even when I'm on stream and I get pissed off at, like, Porcelain Tower and stuff like that, even when it's, like, we see this kind of thing where it's like, oh god, Final Fantasy 1 for the 3rd time with no Garland? Are you kidding me? Like, is Gumi stupid? Like, it's fun to laugh with people about that kind of stuff. And it's fun to get pissed off because, like, some challenge is good in this kind of stuff. Like, some of this content is good. People making amusing videos like Peachin and all of that is fantastic for my enjoyment of WOTV. But my enjoyment of WOTV has started to be very massively outnumbered, or just out-competed against by the frustration of crappy rewards, crappy devs, crappy ambassadors, and the game is just feeling more and more like shit and less like there's any possibility for a redemption arc. Like, so many people are just incredibly conditional on actually liking this game anymore. Sorry, that was another coffee moment. I want people to understand, do I enjoy the games where I get frustrated? Yeah, so long as the frustration's in good amount to the actual fun and satisfaction of overcoming that challenge, when it's not just swiping a credit card to get by a challenge. And that's a problem with all gacha games, and I've accepted that as I am still currently playing. But the 3rd anniversary has been a major toll on the JP side, and I don't think it's going to help Global either, but I'll let Globalers find that out for themselves. Like, it sucks a bit of how mediocre the 3rd anniversary has been, but the real thing has just been the dissolving of friends from playing this game, the over pay to win nature that is starting to become a little too rampant, the constant 100 costs with very little breaks, the mediocre collaborations with no story and everything like that. So even if there is some enjoyment, and I am still getting enjoyment out of WOTV, both by making videos and playing it, it really is my feeling that the frustration level has increased to a much higher amount. And let me just be clear. even if I did decide to quit WOTV tomorrow, I would still do WOTV coverage for a long time to come, because I can still be incredibly in the community. I know a lot of people, I can get a lot of information, and I can still provide valuable insight, even with my account, even if it's just using it for, dummy information and whatnot. That's not a problem. Currently, I'm thinking that if the game doesn't get any better or the situation gets any worse, I would probably leave about New Year's or significantly cut back on the amount of time I was playing this, and basically going down to just dailies and doing no serious farming or any real competitive concern at all in the game anymore. That's probably the future, but I'm definitely going to still be making content for this game for a long time to come. So for people who are worried about that, no worries at all. I hope to continue to provide great content for you guys and do all kinds of neat stuff and continue to evolve and whatnot. But as for WOTV's future, I have to just be totally honest. The third anniversary has not done much for investor confidence. But yeah, thank you so much. Sorry for the long spiel. I know that this was longer but in the global news by a considerable amount, but sometimes you got a bunch of feelings and you just gotta monetize it. I'll say one last thing as I leave. Boy, God of War Ragnarok. What a fantastic game. Go play that. See ya.